they're not allowing today women to be ordained.
Yes.
Why?
Because they don't listen to the Buddha carefully.
I'm here meeting Pate Wisatikawi, a monk and a main leader at the Buddhist Protection Center. He's also a vocal opposition of women becoming ordained monks. Let's see what he has to say. It's sort of a big deal. The end of suffering into enlightenment. Is that enlightenment equal to women and men?
แต่ว่านักค้นคว้าทางศาสนาอื่นๆไม่เคยค้นพบไม่จำกัดบุคคลที่จะรู้เมื่อพระองค์บอกก็หมายความทุกคนมีสิทธิ์รู้ได้รู้แจ้งได้เอ็นไลท์ได้
You have been quoted as saying the ordination of women is not acceptable because women are sensitive and not disciplined.
เหตุผลที่พระพุทธองค์ไม่ประสงค์จะให้บวชในตอนแรกๆเพราะว่าสตรีเพศหรือผู้หญิงนั้นไม่ว่าในยุคนั้นหรือยุคปัจจุบันนะถือว่าเป็นเพศอ่อนแอดูแลตัวเองลำบากถ้าไปอยู่ในวัดแบบสมณะแบบนักบวชนี่
I want to understand better the male resistance to it and the women resistance to it. You know, the men, I heard there's a quote that's saying women are staying on celibacy.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Sign up. It's in the text line by line. But because the monks have been teaching in this country, so they would quote only the first line that addressed the women. So I quote the second line that addressed the men. The men are also obstruction for us, for our celibacy.
I love it.
Yes.
I love
so
it.
That's why you have to read the text.
I love it.
The text is the power.
Some female monasteries haven't just been threatened, they've been attacked. Dr. Lee did it all. Dhammananda is a bhikkhini, which means she's an ordained female monk. When they refused to ordain her, she hacked the system and went to another Buddhist country to be ordained. She has now performed 100 ordinations for female monks. You had everything most women want. A successful career.
Yes.
A good family, 3 children, a house, a car.
Yes.
The whole package.
Yes.
And yet you decided to walk away from all of it and
Yes.
pursue your spiritual path.
Yes.
What inspired you to do that?
I was a professor teaching at Thammasat University for 27 years. One day, I was putting on makeup. I look at my own reflection in the mirror and I was kind of asking, how long do I have to do this? That was a turning point.
The makeup you were putting it because you were a TV personality.
Right.
หลวงพ่อตั้งใจสอนสามีภรรยาคู่นี้ว่าอย่างไรคะ
And you decided to walk away.
Yes.
How did your husband react?
He said, oh, you can also be ordained. No need to divorce. But I needed a divorce paper. Ordination does not happen if your husband is still an obstacle.
So your husband supported your decision, basically.
Not quite. But eventually he understood and agreed.
And your sons, how did they react?
The sons understood because all of them are grown, you know. The youngest one was 24.
So you were 24 years old when your mother decided to leave the worldly life into the ordained life.
Yes.
How did you feel about it?
At the first time, I cannot accept it.
Yeah.
Because I think like I will lose her.
Once when I become a monastic, a female monastic, I cannot touch opposite sex.
But is it hard that
It
you
is-
see your
it is
son
hard.
and cannot
It is
hug
hard.
him?
Yes, it is hard, but it is possible. When you aim at something higher, the love is still there, but it is not the love that is clinging.
You sacrifice a lot for this. Leave everything you built.
As you were climbing up this social status, you know, it gets to a point that you are always looking for something more. It's endless desire, and you never really feel complete. I never felt complete until the day when I was ordained. You call it fulfillment. You feel happy, balanced, and this is what I was looking for all the time, spiritually, emotionally, physically.
In Thailand, there are around 240,000 male monks, but only a few hundred women. The governing body for monks, the Supreme Sangha Council, refuses to recognise them. It says female monks have never existed in this country. Advocates, though, argue they're trying to restore a long-lost female monastic order, started by the Lord Buddha himself when he ordained his own stepmother.
The first known attempt to introduce female monks in Thailand was back in the late 1920s, when an outspoken critic of the clergy arranged to have his two daughters ordained. The Supreme Sangha Council was infuriated. The two women were arrested and defrocked, and the council made an order banning Thailand's male monks from ordaining women. That ban is still in place today.
The Supreme Sangha Council wouldn't do an interview, so I've come to meet a former member, Senior Monk Pra Tham Kittimeti.
Can you explain why the Supreme Sangha Council here in Thailand does not accept women as monks?
กฎหมายพระนั้นไม่รับรองดังนั้นจึงบวชไม่ได้ถ้าบวชแล้วก็ถือว่าเป็นการกระทำผิดต่อพระพุทธเจ้าด้วย
Didn't the Lord Buddha himself allow women to be ordained?
ใช่ถูกต้องแต่พระพุทธเจ้าอนุญาตนั้นอนุญาตแล้วก็มีเงื่อนไขในประเทศไทยท่านจึงถือว่าไม่มีภิกษุณีมาการไม่มีภิกษุณีมานี่พระสงฆ์จะมาให้การอุปสมบทภิกษุณีให้กฎอุปสมบทกุลสตรีเป็นภิกษุณีไม่ได้
Anne and Achara aren't discouraged by the ban. They'll be heading to Nakhon Pathom, one of the oldest provinces in Thailand, where Theravada Buddhism was introduced from India more than 2,000 years ago. It's also home to Wat Songdam Kalyani, Thailand's first all-female monastery. A monastery that's not recognised by the religious authorities. The head is the Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni, the first Thai woman to take on the powerful all-male clergy and be fully ordained as a Theravada Buddhist monk. Thailand's clergy refused to ordain her. Not deterred, she went to Sri Lanka for the ceremony instead, where male monks are willing to ordain women.
From our side, we are asking for ordination. You are not giving us, that's fine, so we go somewhere else, and then we come back with the lineage.
You've been described as a rebel monk. Are you a rebel?
Hey, the Buddha was a rebel. True. If you read the history of Buddhism, Buddha also stood up against many things that he did not agree. You know, he gave up social structure. That was such a movement, you know, and to allow women to be ordained, such a movement. So that's the beauty of Buddhism.
The idea of becoming ordained didn't occur to Dr. Chatsuman Kaban Singh until she was in her 50s. She was happily married with grown-up children, was a professor of religion and philosophy at one of Thailand's top universities, and had even become a TV personality.
ว่าผู้หญิงและผู้ชายมีศักยภาพในการที่จะบรรลุธรรมเท่ากัน
But then one day when I was putting on makeup, there was inner voice, you know, like another person. Ask, how long do I have to do this? That kind of lifestyle, that success in lay life, you know, success in building up wealth and glory in life, very colorful, very beautiful, enough.
So you had a husband, 3 sons, a great career, house, you had it all. Was there something missing?
Yes, something was missing, true. And I spent more than 2 decades feeling this strange loneliness, not fitting in the world. Until the time when I was ordained. That's it. This is what I was seeking for, you know, this is the most meaningful part of my life.
But Thailand's first fully ordained female monk returned home to a storm of criticism.
When she came back, she was fiercely attacked by the clergy and people who didn't really understand what she's trying to do. The clergy saw her move as a challenge of their power, and they couldn't accept women, as equals.
Sinitsuda Ekachai is a journalist who writes extensively about Thai Buddhism.
Sexism is very deep-rooted in our culture. And organized religion in Thailand, organized Buddhism in Thailand is not free from that sexism. It's a totally male-dominated system. Buddhism in Thailand is tainted by this cultural belief that women are lower than men, socially and spiritually.
You often hear this term, a boys' club. Is the monkhood a boys' club?
All boys club, yes. Run by old boys who lived in the past and want to maintain it that way because it's the system that maintains their power.
Temples for male monks are given substantial funds by the Thai government. Boys who enter the monkhood receive a free education, making it a path out of poverty for many. Thai women can become nuns, known as Mei Chi, but they're not held in the same esteem as monks, receive no financial assistance, and cannot be fully ordained.
What Songkham Kalayani, it means Kalayani means women. Women who uphold Dharma. Women who uphold the teaching of the Buddha.
Anne and Achara are joining 11 other novice candidates at Dhammananda Bhikkhuni's monastery for 3 days of study and rehearsals before ordination day. They're a chance to memorise and precepts to learn. There's a strict routine around eating. Monks aren't allowed meals after midday. And there are chores to do. Everyone pitches in. There's also time for contemplation.
We have learned a lot. We are really getting into the process of self-transformations. That's what we learned from Dhammananda.
Dhammananda is leading by example, standing up against sexism and showing that women can also be spiritual leaders.
A woman can do it too. Men can say anything they want. But if some woman decide to do it, just go for it. Nothing gonna stop you, right? Nothing gonna stop you, and nothing should stop you.
Pra Tamkitamiti says the monkhood isn't sexist, but he worries about the temptations that might arise if women come into the fold.
เสียพระมากขึ้นตอนนี้ทางการห้ามเต็มที่อยู่แล้วก็ยังมีภาพลักษณ์ที่ไม่ค่อยดีจากพระอยู่เยอะที่เกี่ยวกับผู้หญิงนะหรือว่าแม้แต่อยู่วัดเดียวกันก็ห้ามกันได้ป้องกันกันได้หรือไม่นะ
Why couldn't male monks just behave as opposed to women being banned?
บอกกันทั้งสองด้านนะคือผู้หญิงก็บางครั้งบางทีก็ยับยั้งใจตัวเองไม่ได้ก็เที่ยวแสวงหากามพูดตรงๆอย่างนั้นแม้ผู้ชายที่เป็นพระแล้วถ้ายังไม่สามารถกำจัดกามได้ในระดับหนึ่งลืมพระวินัยในที่สุดก็กลายเป็นเรื่องไปมั่วสุมกันทางกามทางเพศแล้วก็ทำให้ภาพลักษณ์ของศาสนามันยิ่งเสียหาย
That's already happening. There have been a number of recent saffron scandals with sex or temple fraud at the centre of most. Monk numbers have dropped by around 50,000 in recent years too. Dhammananda believes the way to restore public faith in Buddhism and grow the religion is to work together. But she says the Sangha Council won't engage with her.
They should appreciate what I do, but I'm afraid from a distance, looking from a distance, they might see me as this outspoken nun, this very strong character, that kind of thing, because in our culture, we are very quiet and we are very tame, and I'm also sweet, but I'm not tame.
It's the eve of ordination for Achara and Anne.
A new chapter is about to begin. The day comes. We made it. My journey will be happening tomorrow.
This is something I've been waiting for a long time, and I feel good.
Early the next morning, friends and families arrive at the monastery. They'll play a special role throughout the ordination ceremony. It starts with the women seeking forgiveness from those closest to them.
ขอบคุณขอให้ถ้ามีอะไรที่ล่วงเกินมาไปทั้งที่ตั้งใจและไม่ได้ตั้งใจทั้งอดีตชาติปัจจุบันชาติขอโหสิกรรมด้วยค่ะ
The women's hair is cut and their heads are shaved to symbolise their rejection of ego and possessions.
2 months ago, I started to think, oh my God, I need to shave my hair. What I will be look like. I kind of get worried about my beauty. And then I just like, beauty is nothing for me anymore.
Ordination ceremonies happen regularly for men in Thailand and are usually far more elaborate. What's happening here is understated but significant.
Each step, you are certain, you are aware that you are making a history. I keep telling them, that do you realize that you are part of this movement that is going to be written down in the history? We are on the right side of history.
In Thailand, Buddhist women are told to wear white, never saffron. But these women are reclaiming the saffron robe. It's the most important day of their spiritual journey so far. The women take their final vows, committing to uphold the teachings of the Lord Buddha.
I have changed, and I am now become a daughter of Lord Buddha. Every single moment after this, I need to be careful. The way I think, the way I say, the way I act,
I need to be a good representative of Buddhism.
She'll stay at the monastery for another week before returning home.
As I promised to myself, my family and my husband, I can't just leave them now, but in the future, we never know because the futures haven't come yet.
Achara is clear about what she wants for her future, to travel to Sri Lanka for full ordination like Dhammananda did.
And I think I got to go. Whatever it takes, I will do it.
The community around Dhammananda's monastery has embraced the women in saffron robes. The morning after ordination, locals are waiting to offer the new novices food and other essentials for simple blessings.
เขาก็มีกิจของเขาเหมือนกับพระสงฆ์ผู้ชายทั่วไปนะครับเขาก็รักษาศีลรักษาอะไรแล้วก็มาบิณฑบาตเหมือนกันทุกอย่างน่าจะรับรองได้
Do you feel more comfortable talking to a bhikkhuni?
ใช่ค่ะเพราะว่าคือเป็นผู้หญิงเหมือนกันเป็นเพศเดียวกันถ้าเกิดเป็นพระนี่คือต้องเว้นระยะแล้วเข้าไปคุยอย่างเงี้ยยากขึ้นนะคะ
These women are determined to walk their own spiritual paths, and they're not waiting for permission from anyone in the clergy to do it. Instead, they hope the Thai people will recognise them as they devote their lives to their faith.
Things will change. In the teaching of Buddhism, also, nothing remains. So it will also change.
Do you think you'll see that change in your lifetime?
I didn't think that I would see Bhikkhuni in my lifetime. So, yes, it might happen in my lifetime. I need to live long